So we are here at the SXCS Round 2 Sprint Cross Country Series, Round 2 at Butch Creek, Maryland. And if you guys can't tell already, it is the perfect race day. The sun's out, everything's dried up, and I am looking forward to getting on that starting line and seeing what we can make of this race. Now, if you're new to the channel, what we typically do every race is we show up, we go to the sign-up tent, we check where the scoring is going to be at, and we check the starting line. Basically, so we can get our bearings on where everything is going to happen, where all the most action is going to be at for my awesome wife and whoever else wants to come through and spectate is going to be. And a benefit for me because I'll know where the starting line's at. Whew. Frosty. Let's see.
One of the marshals said they're like 6-mile laps. The kids are doing them in 10 minutes. Yeah. We'll probably do 6, 7, 8 laps, something like that.
Now you guys remember the Hangover Hair Scramble. That was the first race of this series, the entire series altogether. First race. This is the second one, so I'm really hoping it does not go over the way the Hangover did as far as scoring and lap times and just the confusion at the start and how basically how everything went down. If you have not seen my video from that, make sure you check it out. You don't want to miss it. Now, seeing as this is St. Patrick's Day, I decided I was going to decorate my bike a little bit. I have a little green leprechaun hat and a bow tie and have a little green cape on. Somewhat comical. It's kind of amusing. And we're just out here having a good time. Now typically our starting line is really packed up by this time. We're about 20 minutes before the start of the race, which is pretty typical for everybody to start going down, to the starting line. So we pretty much have the whole line to ourselves. We can figure out exactly where we want to start. We can do a couple test runs at the first turn, and that is awesome. That's a rare thing to get. Luckily, we were able to do this. So as you all know, my awesome wife always makes every race with us, and we were fortunate enough to have my awesome in-laws to come and check the race out as well. So what I really like to do, figure out where our line's at, where the first turn is, and get a couple runs at the first corner to see where the best lineup would be. Usually we walk this, but like I said, we had enough room to actually get on the bike and check it out. I know it's probably hard for you guys to see, but there's a little hump right before that first turn. And all I kept thinking about was, where's the lowest spot on this hump, because I do not want to hit this and catch any kind of an error or have my front wheel come off the ground right before you got to dig into this corner.
Thinking it might be better getting on that side and kind of cross that hump. Somebody's gonna eat it right there.
There's also a transition that goes from that dirt up with the little hump in it into a gravel section in the middle of that turn. So eventually, overall, I'm pretty sure somebody's going to wash out their front wheel in the little gravel section.
Kind of dips down right before it and then whoop, and over.
Now, I'm not sure if it's just because I'm in a different series and I'm doing so many different series this year, or it's because I'm with different people, or what. But typically I don't get nervous, and today I'm a little nervous.
Like your hat. Thanks. Good luck, man.
So obviously my start is extremely terrible. I think the pressure and everything just finally got to me. It's definitely not a whole shot like the last race, but now I get the privilege to play catch up. Now, something that is extremely rare happened here today. These guys started pretty much everyone off at their correct time. We were supposed to start at 11:30. We started at 11:30. The main with the AA riders were supposed to start, I think, 1 o'clock. They started about 1:30, but overall everybody started pretty much at the time that they were supposed to, which is unheard of in these races. Usually everyone starts about an hour past their actual starting time. Now, this was a very big topic with us and a couple of other series that I'm actually racing in after their first race, because there's other series racing today as well, and it's passing etiquette. You come up to somebody and you yell at them, or you rev your engine or whatever, usually they'll move off to the side and you can pass them, and vice versa. Now, I'm not the fastest guy out there, but I do pass people, and when I hear people coming up and I know they're going to pass me or they need to get around, I'll pull off to the side, or I'll point and tell them, go to the right or go to the left, and 99% of the time it works. But sometimes you get these guys that do not want to move, or they want to try and stick it out for just a little bit longer, and it can get frustrating. But we all have to remember, we are all in here. We are all doing the same thing. We are all racing.
Thank you.
Now, so far the passing has not really been an issue. We had a couple instances where it took a little longer to get around the rider, but that's pretty typical. We get to this hill and there's a lot of people stuck on it, so luckily we were able to get around these guys and just lug it up this hill. That's what I love about this 300. You just sit on it, drop it a gear, and it will pull up any hill imaginable. But this is actually the third race out of my season. Second series I'm racing. The third series that I'll be racing, BCHSS, is next week. And everything in this race, this day, just clicked. The bike was running great. We knew what we wanted out of each other. I felt great the whole entire race. Even when it was over, I still was capable of going. So obviously I wasn't pushing as hard as I should have been, but I felt like I was pushing basically as hard as I could. Now, I wasn't sure if it was the weather or the terrain or where we were at or any of that stuff, but none of that really mattered to me. All I know is everything was clicking the way that you really hope it would, and we just felt great. Coming through scoring, I wasn't really sure where I was at, and I didn't really care. All I know is I was pushing, everything was going well, and I felt like I was placing pretty decent in my class. One thing I will say is the past two races being as muddy as they were definitely gave me a lot more confidence going into any kind of mud that was at this race. Didn't bother me a bit. I didn't really hesitate as much. I picked the line and just went for it. Tell you guys something that goes completely against what everyone else is going to tell you. My front tire, I'm running a fatty front tire. It's a Gibson Tech 9.1. I'm running 6 pounds of pressure in it. My rear tire, I'm running 10 pounds of pressure. It's a Battlecross X30. Now, I have heavy duty tubes in both of them, and I'm running that little amount of pressure. Sometimes you have these minor little setbacks, and if you guys have seen any of my other videos, my race videos especially, you know we get in these hairy situations. We don't pick the right lines all the time, and that's just part of racing. We have a marshal that is redirecting traffic a little bit here, and I got to tell you, this race, the marshals in the series, they were on top of redirects for this course. If there was a section where people were getting stuck or they were getting even a little bit off course, the marshals were on top of it, and the guys, the promoters, everybody that brought this series together. I really appreciate that. I mean, it was just so smooth because you'd go through it and it would be kind of screwed up, and then the next lap you go through it again, and they had it fixed. And I honestly have never seen that before, and it was awesome. Like this little section here, you can see the white tape was the original mark, and then the yellow tape is the redirection. So coming through this and seeing it's redirected and having people flagging you and telling you go here, it just made it more smooth every lap. So I was extremely impressed by that, because every lap where there was a hairy section where I kind of noticed people getting stuck or screwed up, they were on it and they were fixing it the next lap.
Come on, buddy! Inside, let's go! Hey, you hear me? Come on, outside! Come on, man! Inside, let me go!
And that is a prime example of somebody that does not want to give their spot up. Not saying that he is wrong for doing what he did. I probably could have gotten around him if I really pushed and pushed and pushed and made it a little unsafe. But I'm not out here to get injured or to injure anyone else. And realistically, if I'm yelling at somebody or if anyone's yelling at me, you should probably just move off to the side and go about your day. But like I said, sometimes it does not happen. And instead of getting frustrated and irritated about it, you just have to wait for your opportunity. Coming through here, I find myself alone, which could be good or could be bad. And I'm not sure what place I'm in, but I know I felt great, and I'm looking forward to finding another lap and basically trying to catch somebody else so I can pass them. So I'm pretty much looking for someone that I can catch up to and I can try and pass. Now, one thing I'm just terrible on is just flats and wide open sections. I'm not confident on them. That's why I'm not pinning it to win it in these open sections, because I have had my tires wash out from me before. It is not a great feeling. It sucks to wreck, but it's just part of racing and something that I really have to work on. was giving a little too much throttle coming out of that little divot right there, and it just got away from us, which it does happen. And we got a little turnaround. Finally, after a few seconds of thinking, I know people were coming up on me, I just finally decided to go through the tape. And sometimes it just happens. The big difference between what Jessica did and what this rider did was she knew somebody was coming up, she heard, she was alert, she moved over to the side, and I made a pass. This guy, I don't know if he heard me or not, even though I yelled at him, did not move whatsoever. He was just following the trail, so I had to make my own path to get around him. And it's hard to say whether or not, if that path wasn't there, if I would have followed him for 3 minutes or 10 minutes. I feel like we all need to pay attention to these kinds of things because they're important not only for race standards, but for safety. Now there were a couple low-lying tree limbs in this section that kept catching my knee, which really kind of irritated me a little bit. It made me really want to consider getting some knee guards because I currently do not wear knee guards. I have some in my garage, I just don't wear them because they're old and I just don't wear them. So if you guys have any options for me, feel free to leave a comment and let me know what kind of knee guards you run and why I should actually wear them. posted results at the race put me 5th place out of 13. The adjusted results after everything was said and done and it went through processing ended up 6th out of 13, and I think 31st out of 108 or 110, something like that, which is pretty good. I'm definitely looking forward to coming back to race this series again.
They hurt? I have no idea what place I came in.
No, not too bad. I mean, the flag hasn't been out for very long, so...
It hasn't?
Your hands hurt, vibrating. You didn't even feel it.
I think I did alright.
Go, you're good, buddy. You have 5 laps? 6.
6. There's 2 mud pits, and considering the last 2 races, that's like training. All the guys that were in the front were stuck, and I'm just right around them up the hill. Every lap, they were getting stuck.
Used to it now.
So as always, I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment down below. And until next time, I'm 10 West Moto. I'll see you on the starting line.